Welcome to the Happy Black Woman Podcast, where we're on a mission to empower women to transform their lives through personal development and entrepreneurship. We bring you all the information, inspiration, and motivation you need to create a life of happiness, success, and freedom. Now, please welcome your host, the happy Black woman herself, Rosetta Thurman.
Hello and welcome to the very first episode of the Happy Black Woman Podcast. This is the only show on the internet that is designed to help Black women create lives of happiness, success, and freedom. I'm your host, Rosetta Thurman, and I am so excited to welcome you to our amazing community on this new platform. Now, in this episode, I'm going to share a little bit about me and my story, just in case you don't know who I am yet and we're meeting for the first time. I'm going to share my vision for this podcast and how you can participate in our weekly show. You can start by visiting my website at happyblackwoman.com to learn more about me and the incredible community that we are building here. Now, this podcast is not for everyone, but it is for you if you are on the path to transforming your life. This podcast is for you if you desire to build a successful business doing what you love so that you can quit your 9-to-5 job. This podcast is especially for you if you want the freedom to travel and live life on your own terms. So you are probably and hopefully in the right place. Now, I want to share with you my mission. My mission is to help women transform their lives through personal development and entrepreneurship. And I do that as the founder of happyblackwoman.com, which is a supportive community that empowers women all over the world to really create their ideal lives through personal development and entrepreneurship. So what I do in my business is provide high-level training, coaching, and mentoring for women who are ready to live lives of happiness, success, and freedom. So that's what I'm all about. And as a transformational coach and mentor, I teach women how to really build successful location-independent businesses, doing what they love so that they can quit their jobs and finally have the freedom to travel and live life on their own terms. So this is all integrated in what you're going to hear on the podcast and the work that I am doing in the world. Personally, I am a foodie. I love food. I love trying new foods. I love cooking. I love wine. I love all that foodie stuff. I love restaurants, and I'm a traveler. I love to travel all around the world, primarily for food and wine. So I have been to about 10 countries now, and there's so many more I'm excited to see. And I am also a minimalist. I travel with one suitcase. I keep all of my belongings in a carry-on bag, my clothes, my shoes, my toiletries, and I keep my laptop in my backpack, which is my office. Out of all the places that I've traveled to on my journey, my favorite place in the whole world is Hawaii. And I've been to Italy, Spain, Jamaica, Greece, Israel, France. I've been all over, and Hawaii is home for me. So in my lifestyle, my minimalist, traveling, foodie all over the world lifestyle, I love to experience good food, good music, and always a good cocktail. So that's a little bit about me personally, and my story of how I even got into this is that I started in the nonprofit sector. I mean, you might be wondering, how did you go from working a nonprofit 9-to-5 job to being location independent, traveling all over the world? And it's funny, I didn't set out to do this. I set out to be a nonprofit leader. I was in fundraising. I worked for different nonprofits to promote great causes. I raised money for good causes. I was in community development, youth development. I worked with associations. And I really got excited about the effect of social change on our world. I love to volunteer, and I built my career in the nonprofit sector. Now, there came a point in my career that I wanted to get more leadership opportunities, and I knew I had to build my reputation and my brand. So I decided to start a blog. In 2007, I started a nonprofit blog about leadership and career development and diversity. And it really took off. I mean, people were reading my articles about my thoughts and my expertise in my industry. And it was amazing. What I did not expect was that people would start to ask me to come and speak all over the country. And all of a sudden, I had a business because they were paying me money to do workshops on leadership and on diversity and on how to build your career in the nonprofit world. And I really got hooked. I got hooked on being able to travel and share my message. And 2 years later, I had a decision to make. Was I going to continue running my business on the side while I still had my 9-to-5 nonprofit job, or was I going to take the leap and do this full time? It came to the point where I was turning down speaking engagements because I had to work. I was using all my vacation time to travel around the country to do conferences and workshops and consulting. So 2010, I call my year of liberation. I decided to quit my job. In January 2010, I went out on my own to be a full-time nonprofit consultant, speaker, trainer, coach, and do that full-time. It was also the year that I went natural. I cut off all my relaxed hair and I started wearing an afro. I had a teeny-weeny afro I was very proud of. And it just really, those experiences showed me what I believe today. And that is, you can do anything you want with your life, and no one can stop you but you. I had people telling me, why are you leaving this good job? I mean, I made a great salary in Washington, D.C. I had my own parking space. I had 5 weeks of vacation. I really didn't have a lot to complain about, but there was something bubbling up within me that said, you can do this. And I always thought if it didn't work out, I can just go back to working a job. 5 years later, I'm still here, still growing and achieving success in my business. And I have to say that I learned freedom was priceless. And I got very clear that I would do whatever it took to keep my freedom. In fact, one of my mentors at the time when I quit my job, I was talking to him on the phone, and he said, he was a very militant, black power kind of guy. And he said, you know what you are now, don't you? And I said, no, what am I? And he said, you's a free Negro now. You're not on the plantation anymore. And I thought, that's funny, but also it's true. I was a free Negro, and I could do whatever I wanted. And I want that for you if that's the path that you choose to take in your career. So that is the story of how I quit my job, started my business. How did I get into doing Happy Black Woman? Well, again, I wanted to share my experience. And so in 2010, I started documenting my experience of becoming a full-time entrepreneur on a new blog. And it was called Diary of a Happy Black Woman. And I was just writing about the good, the bad, and the ugly, what it was like to be on my own and to not have the identity of a 9-to-5 job. What did it look like to really create this new reality for my life? And all the changes that were going on with becoming natural and dating in D.C. and just life changes that were happening. And a community started to form around that blog. And we started having Happy Black Woman happy hours. And I started teaching the women who were asking me, how did you do it? How did you quit your job? And I started to love that work even more than my nonprofit work. So in 2013, I decided to take Happy Black Woman full time. I shut down my nonprofit consulting business, and the rest is history. Since then, I've hit multiple six figures in my business. I never thought I could make that much money without a job. And it's true. What people say is that if you want to make a lot of money, you want to have your own business. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. 2013, I went full-time with Happy Black Woman. I decided to become location independent. I moved to Hawaii. I started traveling all over the world, and I would not trade this lifestyle for anything at this moment. So, like I said, I believe that you can do anything with your life and no one can stop you. There's so much more I can tell you, and you can go to happyblackwoman.com and follow my journey there. Read up on all of our previous blog posts documenting this whole process that I've been on. And you want to stay engaged with our podcast. What is going to be happening with our Happy Black Woman podcast is I'm taking the show to the airwaves. I'm taking my show that's only been on the blog and taking it to the airwaves. So what you can expect on the podcast is a brand new 30 to 45-minute show every week, a new episode. I'll be interviewing brilliant entrepreneurs about what makes them happy, successful, and free. These people will inspire and motivate you to create your ideal life. I'll also be bringing you experts who will share valuable tips and strategies to help you build your online empire if you want to become location independent. And we'll be talking about topics from increasing your confidence to publishing your book to making more sales in your business. I know this is what we all want. So that's what you can expect in terms of the frequency, the length, and the topics on the show. Now, you can also get the show notes and transcripts from each episode at happyblackwomanpodcast.com. And while you're there, you can go ahead and request access to our private Happy Black Woman Facebook group and download your free gift from me, my 15-page life mapping workbook. This is a fun, colorful, printable workbook that will help you reflect and visualize exactly what you want your life to look like. This resource is my baby. It's helped thousands of women all over the world, and I know it will help you too. Now, your next step is to go ahead and listen to the first 2 episodes of our Happy Black Woman podcast and soak up all the wisdom and inspiration from our wonderful guests. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope to see you online or in person very soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us on the Happy Black Woman podcast. If you want all the show notes from today's episode, go to happyblackwomanpodcast.com. Plus, we'll send you a copy of Rosetta's free life mapping workbook. We look forward to empowering you next time, and until then, do something this week that makes you happy.